Reuters writing about that just today, saying, quote, Iranian officials and other senior sources in the country say that Khamenei remains in control, ruling from the shadows for security reasons. He recovers from disfiguring wounds while delegating broad daily authority to a coterie of top figures. So that's the kind of the 6-month look as we bring Dan Baer in. Dan is the former U.S. ambassador to the Organization for Security Cooperation in Europe. He's the interim president now of the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace. Welcome, Dan. 6 months in, what are you thinking about?
Yeah, exactly as you laid it out. It's hard to make the argument that this war of choice was a good choice because we have not accomplished the aims that the United States laid out. We have not accomplished verifiable end to the nuclear program. The missile program, yes, has been degraded, but it is not destroyed. The proxies continue to be active in the region and attacking U.S. partners in the region. And as you mentioned, well, we did take out Khamenei. His son remains in charge. So add to all of that two other factors. The Strait of Hormuz has been closed or mostly closed for most of the last 6 months. There does seem to be some news of some progress there, but there's no argument that we're at something like the status quo ante. And the United States has degraded a great amount of munitions, which leaves us less secure everywhere else in the world.
Now, you could look for some kind of positive developments or trends. This article from Axios that Barak Raviv wrote, the headline about Hormuz is that sucker is open, and the U.S. gains the upper hand in the battle for Hormuz. So the indication here is that maybe the tide is turning in the strait and that the military is now, our military now has the upper hand in Hormuz. What do you say?
I mean, I guess it kind of weirdly depends on what your definition of open is. I think it's clear that from what the military has told us that they have made progress on being able to deliver more traffic through the strait, but the traffic levels are still only at about 50% of what they were before the war. That obviously still has an impact on oil prices, which are still 15% higher than they were when the war started. And, one of the statistics I saw cited was that only 2% of the ships passing the strait last month were hit by Iranian missiles or drones. Well, 2% is a really significant number when compared to 0 before the war. If you had a kid who was working on one of those ships, 2% would probably sound pretty high to you.
The other part about this are political considerations, public support considerations for a war that was promised to be at the beginning. So, well, it's not going to be more than 5 or 6 weeks, and now it's 6 months plus, and now we start to think about how long this might drag on. On the telestrator, we have views from Reuters Ipsos on the war, and they're not positive, and they haven't been for some time. As 63% of all adults are disapproving of the effort. So how might that play in? I mean, is the American public, isn't that number just going to get higher the longer it drags on?
I would expect so. I've seen figures out in the last week that suggest that American families will be paying $1,000 or more in increased heating, electricity, gas costs over the winter, including gasoline. And obviously that hits people's pocketbooks. In addition to the prosperity hit, there's also a security hit. And that's why you saw Ratcliffe go to Moscow this week, because the Russians understand that we've been weakened, that we have fewer Patriot missiles and Tomahawks, that they may see this as a moment of opportunity.
They see us as vulnerable. I mean, the Washington Post headline on that said that Putin sees the U.S., to your point, as weakened. And with the Ratcliffe trip, does he try to take advantage of our vulnerability, Putin?
I mean, that appears to be the concern, and I saw the news report saying that intelligence estimates by the Russians said that we had been weakened. You don't need intelligence estimates, you just need to read a newspaper. As I said, the depletion of our military stocks has put us in a worse off position. When you compound that with the contentious relationship that President Trump has had with our allies, particularly in Europe, that may make Putin feel like he has a moment of opportunity. And obviously that's what Ratcliffe was going to Moscow to say is don't try us. But we'll see whether Putin sees this as a moment of vulnerability for the United States. Again, it all goes back to a war of choice that hasn't accomplished its aims and that has left us less secure and less prosperous after 6 months.
6 months in as of today. Dan, thank you. Dan Baer.